Hey, good morning, you guys. It's Kelly, and I am in Black Thread Studio Kitchen, and this is what I'm doing. I was willing to get up, and I have to do this right away this morning. So here I am in my pajamas talking to you. I was willing to show everything except for my hair. So here we are. This is what I worked on. I stitched Therefore I Am Remembered. This is what I'm going to make into a bracelet today with you guys. And it's a little bit bright for me. I wanted to tone it down. My intent was to make something that I could wear with my turquoise jewelry. And it's a little bit bright. I have not tried to coffee or tea stain anything for years and years and years. But I've watched a few videos, and this is what I'm trying this morning. So here we go. I have my regular coffee that's very much needed. This isn't a big piece. I'm only doing this little strip. So I have just a little bit of water, and luckily Jim, if you can believe it, actually drinks this Taster's Choice instant. I think these little packets were left over from a vacation that we did. So because I want this strong enough and I haven't tried it before, I'm putting 3 packs in here to kind of dissolve. And you guys are doing this along with me. So let me get that dissolved really good. My plan is to use this brush and just kind of dab it in places. I think you're supposed to scrunch it up a little bit. So I guess I'll do that, and then put it in the oven to set. So I'm not nervous. I think I'm more nervous to see if it's gonna turn out while I'm doing it with you guys, but here we go. Somebody's probably, you guys are probably talking to me, telling me not to do it a certain way or to do it a different way, but I just like to try things the way I like to do it, so we'll see if it works. Okay, so my plan is I'm just going to dab it. I know it's going to absorb some, but here we go. Cross your fingers, you guys. Oh, you know what? I kind of like that effect. Wait, how did I do that? Maybe I just want to dab it like that. Let me see. So you guys see, I splattered a little bit. I kind of like that. Do I like it with it being that white in the background? Does it look like it's just dirty? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Okay, I'm just going to dab a few more. This border turned out lighter than I wanted it to, but I also know I'm going to do beads. So I guess I'm just going right over the stitches, trying to... I should have showed you before I did that, but what I did is... Oh, you guys, did I just ruin it? I think I did. Do I just have to? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over the whole thing. And then what I'm going to do is rinse it out and see what stayed. I'll rinse it out before I put it in. I mean, that's pretty. I just thought I wanted some white in the background. Okay, oh geez. Okay, this might not end up the way I wanted it to, but that's why I'm doing it with you guys. So instead of just telling you what I did, I could show you what I did. I mean, that's pretty. But I wanted a little bit of white. Let me rinse it out, and I'm gonna see how that looks. Okay, let's see if that looks any better. Yeah, that's better. What do you guys think? Should I try to rinse it a little bit more? I don't know what to do. Okay, let me rinse it a little bit more. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is is I'm gonna put it on I'm gonna scrunch it up. I know some people put down parchment paper or something else. I have this big pan, so I'm just gonna do this. And you can see the bracelet's only gonna be as big as where I stitched. I wanna scrunch that up a little bit because I wanna see if it will get a little bit more mottled when I put it in the oven. I actually have the oven on 350, which might be kind of high, but this little piece, I'm not that patient, I just want to get it done. I'm gonna fold that up a little bit so it gets a little bit more scrunched. Okay, you guys, that's how I'm gonna put it in, like that. Just doing it as flat as I can get it and some folds in it. So I'm gonna bake that for a little bit. I'm gonna watch it really close since this is so small. I don't want it to, you know, catch on fire. So I'm gonna try that and then I'll be back to show you how we're gonna finish it off. Okay, you guys, I just took this out of the oven. It was in there. I had it set at 350. I left it. I already took it off of here. It was stuck just a little bit. But let's take a look at it here. I think I'm gonna like this. See how it came out mottled? I'm actually really excited about that. See where the R is? That has just, I think, the amount of kind of a white. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna get dressed now and then come back and finish this off with you guys. I'll have to press that really good, but I really like that. Job well done. Hi you guys, it's Kelly. I'm back and I'm all dressed and dutied up. I have all my turquoise on, and that is because I don't have turquoise there, but I'm hoping that when I get this done today, that I can wear this to lunch. I'm meeting a new friend, Marla, for lunch. Marla and I met a couple years ago, but we've really never hung out or done much. And sometime when I do a little snippet with her, I'm hoping she'll show us some of her stitching and quilting, and she does applique. She does a little bit of everything. So she's right up my alley. But we met when I tried to start this stitch group, and it was going well. We were meeting once a month at the little local library, and we had a snowstorm and we didn't make it. There was a couple months in a row we didn't make it, and then I just kind of gave up on it, and there's a reason why, but I'll talk about that at a different time. But anyway, Marla has kindly kept in touch with me, and we are having lunch today. So I'm really excited about that. And Marla actually was, her name was pulled for the Peace on Earth. Should I grab that? No, it's in the kitchen. It was the Peace on Earth cross stitch giveaway, and she also was the tassel winner. That was that a couple months ago, and I just planned on hanging on to it until I could see her, and that is going to be today. So anyway, we are going to make this, and hopefully I'll be wearing it out of here. This is what I did. I took pictures of it during the week while I was working on it to post on my Instagram, and I took the pattern out of the bag to photograph it with you so you could see that it was Not Forgotten Farm by Lori, who's on Instagram, and she also has a YouTube. And I talked last time about how much I love all of her patterns, and I have no idea what I did. I have the actual chart, but I don't have the cover to show you. So please visit Lori on Etsy, Not Forgotten Farm. And this is the bracelet pattern. I stitched, therefore I am remembered. I didn't look at it. I am sure Lori has some instructions on there on how to finish off the bracelet. I hadn't read through it because I don't do directions. It boggles my mind. So I like to just figure things out for myself. So that's what we're doing here together today. So this morning you saw me do this. I really like the way it turned out. And we know the bracelet is going to be just this much. And I'll be cutting that out, but I left it because of course it's going to be easier to stitch the bracelet and then cut it down after I'm done with that. So I did put a little bit of iron-on interfacing on the back to make it, to cover up my stitching, make it a little bit stiffer. And I also want to show you, I wanted something fun on the back. Here it is. I wanted something fun on the back, even though you're not going to see it. I'll see it when I put it on. And instead of just digging around for something, I was going to head down to the basement to look for fabric, and this was sitting on my ironing board. And it's nice upholstery weight. Look at those birds, that bird and the flowers. So I thought, wouldn't that be fun to have that on the back? So I cut out just a little piece with the flower. So this is going to be my backing. I didn't know if I would also have to use this on the back. I don't know if that's going to make it too, do I want it stiff? Would you guys, I think it's just personal preference, don't you? And I do have a bigger wrist. I'm thinking, what am I thinking? Do I want it to be stiffer to look like a bangle, or do I want it a little bit softer? What do you guys think? I'm gonna think about that while we're sitting here going forward. I have to decide quick though, because I'm gonna be stitching it any minute. So anyway, as soon as I decide what I'm gonna do there, I'll show you what else I have. I have a jar of beads. And can you see the color? They're kind of a, let me bring you down. They're kind of a, I didn't want anything too shiny. These have a lot of the different colors, like turquoisey green, because turquoise can go green or more blue. And I have a lot of turquoise, and I just thought it would be fun to wear this with my turquoise. I have turquoise that's more green and more blue. So I thought that would be perfect. And then wait until you see this. If you guys think I'm ever gonna not talk about Cece and the Thread Gatherer, then you can just, I hope you don't get tired of it, because you know how much I love her. Anyway, and who wouldn't? Look at this. This is one, I've had this for a long time. This is one piece of ribbon that she hand dyed. Look at the perfection in those colors. And the beauty of it is, if you need just a piece, you can cut out whatever piece you want. This is so beautiful, I can't decide. So I actually think I'm gonna leave it that long. And then when you tie it in a bow, it's gonna be perfect. So what I'll do, I'll just do it now, is snip the ends off at an angle. And then I actually might put a little bit of my liquid stitch glue on the ends, just so it doesn't fray, because I'm hoping to wear this a lot. So look at those gorgeous colors. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I also had this, which is variegated, and this one is called Deep Forest. I do not know what this one is. This one's called Deep Forest. I thought about kind of doubling up, but I know that I'm not going to be able to tie this once it's on by myself, and I thought somebody might not want to struggle with all these ribbons like I would. So I'm just going to do one simple piece. I think, well, I'll talk about that when I get to it. Anyway, I wanted to show you. So the beads, I had some, but I didn't have enough. I went to Joann Fabrics, and I went, this is what I got, Hildy and Joy. They come in different size packages. And then for the clasp, I found something. Well, I'll tell you what I did. Whoops. I got two clasps. Hang on. I got two clasps and the little, I'll show you how I'm going to use these. They were marked out to 97 cents. This is what I did. If you guys hear me talk about budgeting and trying to be smarter about the way I do things, number one, I have so many things to use. I did not have enough beads, I didn't think, and I didn't have any clasps. But I will be very honest with you. In my younger years, when I was stitching and quilting, I just was willy-nilly spending all kinds of money and didn't budget. And it wasn't, honestly, it wasn't a good feeling to not be smart about it. So in my older years, I'm trying to budget and be smarter. So if you hear me talk about that, it's just to share that with you, not so you feel sorry for me or you think I'm, you know, some kind of crazy bag lady. It's because I just want to share that you can do these things really on a budget if you're smart about it. So this is what I did. I kind of play games with myself. I walked into Joann Fabrics. I had a $5 bill in my wallet, $5 bill. And I tell myself that's all I can spend, $5. And in my own mind, I'm thinking, there is no way. You're going to see all this other stuff that, and that's part of it. I see all this other stuff that I want. And I said, nope, I'm going in there. I have $5. I can buy beads and a clasp for $5. Well, don't you know, just the clasp themselves were like $4.99. So, and I had my Joann's coupon for 20% off. So I thought, am I really going to buy like, you know, $5 worth of stuff and use my coupon? Well, I did. So I grabbed the smaller bag for $2.49 and I dug through until this is, I guess they're both Hilda and Joy. I dug through it, and on the very bottom, stuck behind, I saw a red tag, and these were marked down to 97 cents. So here's my Joy story, Hilda and Joy. I got up there, I told the girl, I said, you probably can't believe I'm going to use my coupon, but I am. I'm using my coupon on this. I had $5 in my wallet. I did have some change. It was like $4.39. So with my 39 cents I threw in, I walked out with $1 left in my wallet after my $5 bill. That was good. I was excited about that. So anyway, that's what I did. I went and got that, and I'm going to figure out how to use these. Now, on the pattern that Lori from Not Forgotten Farm, she shows a really pretty satin ribbon. Hers is done a little bit more rustic, I believe in kind of a rusty and brown colors. And she had a really pretty ribbon with kind of a, it looked like a plastic, almost those curtain ring kind of things that you use for Roman shades. It looked like one of those. I don't think it was, probably. And a really pretty little antique-y looking button. And I love that look so much, but I knew it would be really hard for me to get that on and off. And so I came up with a little bit different idea. Okay, here we go. I have, for my beads, I'm going to use a blue thread that's, whoops, that's about the color of the beads. I don't know if you can see that blue. I have a teeny tiny, there are beading needles, but they're so, this one was hard to get threaded. And I did it double, and I'll show you why I did it double. But I think that will work. Anyway, this is a between, maybe, quilting. And sometimes those work really well. If the bead doesn't go all the way through down past the eye, then I just keep trying a different bead, because some of them will have a bigger hole in them. That's the strawberry Cece made me. Okay, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna get started. I kind of thought maybe I would say this too. If you're here visiting me and you're not sure what I'm doing, I'll tell you that I'm not sure either. And I think that's the fun of it. I actually have a playlist that's called Various and Sundries, and that's where I'll just stick stuff that doesn't really pertain to anything. And I would venture to say that the whole channel or YouTube that I'm doing could be Various and Sundries. And that makes me laugh because if you've watched and you know the stories of Rox, my best friend, when we were, you know, 7th, 8th grade goofing around, and she does that voice that if you guys have heard, she would just goof off and say various and sundries, like look at all these various and sundries. So that's kind of been a fun thing to say and use. So I'm gonna say that my YouTube channel, if you're new here, is just full of various and sundries. I've gotten back into cross stitch, which is filling me up more than I even knew it would. And after 25 years, I do a little bit of quilting. I love embroidery, hand stitching. I do use my machine. I like all kinds of stuff. So if you're here, welcome. If you're not sure if you're gonna like it, maybe stick around and watch a few. I don't do things as a tutorial. Like today, I just do things to do it along with you. That way, if I make a mistakes or if I do something and it turns out, then fun, we did it together. So that's what I'm here for. When I'm at work, we talk about other things, but I don't have anybody to talk about stitching with. And when I'm home, it's just Jim and I talk about other things, but it's mainly this time of year, what kind of weeds are in the yard and how we can get rid of them. So this is my place where I can talk about stitching and be filled up with that and have you guys here with me. So before I start, I thought I would kind of mention this. Before I start on the bracelet, I'm going to back up to a couple Saturdays ago. I'm doing the My Color Is Block of the Month that I started in November when I turned 60. I thought for my 60th year, I'm going to work on this quilt, and it has 9 blocks. So it's actually the 9th block, I think, will be September. Yeah, it will be September because that's, well, no, it won't, because I started. Well, we talked about it in November. I think I actually did start the first block that we were doing January. So let's say September will be the 9th block. And then I plan to have it quilted while we're doing it as a quilt along. No stash or no, what's it called? No sashing. No sashing style. Yeah, that's what it's called. So if you're interested, you can follow along. You can always catch up. We're just kind of winging it. And I actually think only 1 or 2 of you are doing it with me, which is great. When I get done with it, I just hope that I'm going to love it as much as I hope I do. So we do that the second Saturday of every month. I guess I should say this too. My color is the idea that I'm doing it, the colors using my birthstone color, which is citrine. And I was hoping that you guys would do the same. I know Bernadine is doing, are you doing yours purple, Bernadine? I don't know if Karen, if you're still doing it, but anyway, the block that we did was a design your own. It's going to be the center block up on the top. And I showed you guys the picture of that K that I wanted to do because it had the perfect colors. I won't go too much into it, but I wanted to show you. I did get it run off on fabric paper, and I had to do it at work. And you can see our printer did some funky things down here. But once I get it stitched, because I'm going to use this as the center and start stitching fabric around it kind of in a log cabin style, you won't see that. So I just thought I'd show you that because I finally got that printed off. Okay, anything else I want to talk about besides just telling you, hey, I'm so glad you're here with me. Yeah, I'm so glad you're here with me. I do get chatty, so just be aware of that. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start stitching this down. I think I'm stalling because I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do this. Let me just take a minute to feel it, what it's going to feel like when it's stitched together, because it's going to be a little bit thinner. I don't know, you guys. I'm still thinking about it. What are you telling me to do? I think I just heard Heather tell me to do it on both. So I'm going to do that. Let me go ahead and step over to the iron and do this, and then I'll come back with you and we will stitch it together. Okay, I got that ironed on, and I'm making sure that my flower is facing the same way that my stitching is facing. And I'm just gonna kind of eyeball that, and let's see, and lay that. I want the center of the flower. I'm just gonna lay it down like that and eyeball it a little bit. Make sure I have enough on the edges to stitch. And I'm gonna pin this down. Oh, I just got a text from Paige today's Reed's birthday. He's 3. So I got to FaceTime with him this morning. And I don't know, I guess that age group is into Paw Patrol right now. So I sent him all this Paw Patrol stuff. And okay, here's my, okay, I'm doing it okay. Anyway, happy birthday, Reed. Paige might have sent me a picture of him doing something with a birthday item. Okay, so I don't think you guys need to really watch me stitch this down, but I'm gonna kind of do it almost the way I do everything. I'm doing it this way so I can actually see through here. I'm gonna use that little border stitch as a little sewing line. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stitch across the bottom a little bit, you know, and then I'm gonna end here. I'm gonna tack those stitches and leave this all open to turn it inside out. And after I do that, I will be back with you. Before I start sewing, I wanted to show you guys what I did because it was a little bit hard to see through here, even though I could see. I want that as even as I can, so I just used a fabric marking pencil and I just drew a line right where I could see my little black border stitching. And that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna go ahead and get that stitched. So I got it all stitched together. I started cutting it down, and I got so close. I'm gonna be wearing this, I hope, a lot. So what I did is I went back and I really shortened my stitch length really small, and then I went over it again. So I'm hoping that's gonna hold and that I didn't do a mistake cutting that close. So I'm gonna trim this down, and then we're gonna get it turned inside out and see how we're coming along. It didn't take me long to stitch this. I stitched it, I used, what did I use? I used the thread gather chimney sweep one. I have one right here, so let me grab it. What I used, I'll just grab all of them. I guess I should have done that, but now with my new handy rack that I'm working on, I can just pull them right down. I haven't gotten any more up on the thread drops like I wanted to. I want to get that whole thing filled up. But to fill in, I'll show you when I get it turned inside. To fill in, I use this DMC that's variegated, that has a lot of blue and green in it, because I was still looking for that kind of turquoise effect. I did the lettering in chimney sweep thread gather silk. I just used one floss, and then I also used some of willow green by the thread gather when I did the sides where I filled in. I also used the willow green. Since I can't talk and do this at the same time, let me get this cut down first. I used the willow green on the border. I just had this terrible thought. What if I'm just chopping through here and I sewed it wrong and I cut off the border, but I didn't. Okay, so I'm gonna just trim my little corners off. Anyway, I used the willow green on the little border edge too, and it was really variegated, more variegated than it looked there. I'm gonna finger press these open, since I usually do that in some of the previous videos, just because I was going through and not thinking about it. I didn't even do that. See that one? I hope I got way too close, you guys. I wonder if, just to make it even, I should cut that one off too, or if that will be a mistake. It's a bracelet. I'm thinking about it way too much, aren't I? Okay, let me just finger press this one, and then we'll get it turned inside out. So of course I forgot what I was saying, but let's get this finger pressed. I'm hoping to wear it a lot. That's my whole point. So let's get it turned inside out and see what it looks like. I'll have to grab my little chopstick over there. But gosh, what a fun thing Lori came up with. I don't know how she would have had you finish it off, because of course I can't find the directions. Let me grab my little chopstick here. When I trim the ends, I usually leave enough, I'll show you, so that I can fold them in and get that finger pressed or ironed really good when I finish off that open end. And I usually do kind of, I just call it a running hidden stitch. I don't know what it's really called. You guys will tell me. Okay, because there's 4 layers, these ends are going to be more rounded, and that's totally fine with me. I mean, it's going to be on and be behind me. Now, I know I tried this on a couple girls at work yesterday, just wrapping it around, and it met their wrists. Look how big my wrist is. It met their wrists. Oh, I should have left that longer, shouldn't I, you guys? Oh, I meant to do that. I meant to leave more fabric at the end. Oh, shoot. Oh, maybe someone will be getting this as a gift, and I'll have to restitch it for myself and make it longer. Unless it's going to be so open that it's going to be more ribbon. See, that's the kind of stuff I do. So what I'm telling you now that I made the mistake is to make sure you measure before you cut it off for yourself, because that is going to be way too small for me. Okay, let's get it done. Let's get it done and see what it's going to look like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these ends in, get them matched up. I'm going to iron that down. I'm going to do a little slip stitch, and then I'll come back with you and we're going to do the clasp. I'm going to pull you a little bit closer so as I'm stitching this, maybe you can see a little bit better. So I'm going to do that little slip stitch, and I'm using the same color as the linen, kind of an ecru color, and I did a double, and I have that loop down there. That way I can string it through. I'm just going to stick it in the seam here. I can string it through and just slip it through like that to catch without having a big knot in there. I'm just going to pull it like that. And you guys have seen me do this before, where I pinch a little bit of the back. I usually have the front of a piece, do I? I guess it depends. Well, I'm doing this one so I can see where I'm catching that at. But I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch this. I've been coming up with some ideas for the clasp, hoping it will be long enough for me when I get there. So let me finish doing this. So far, so cute, right? Okay, we'll finish up. So that whole bottom is slip stitched down. I just gave it a good press. When I get done, I'm going to kind of recap what we did and tell you what I would do different next time, because I already know what I would do different. But I have my double thread in the blue with the loop, and I'm doing that once again. I'm getting ready to put the beads on, by the way. I did that so that I won't have a knot, and I'm actually going to start kind of in the, let's see, actually, because I want it to line up right, I'm going to kind of start over here, like off center a little bit, and I'm just going to take a little bite so that I can catch that loop again and not have a knot, and just pull it nice and snug. I tend to do, so I'm doing the beading. Lori did have beading around. Again, since I don't have the directions, I don't know how she did it, but I'm just doing it my way. So I usually stack like 5 to 7 beads on the needle, and then come back and loop through the last one. So let me just show you here. And these are all variegated, so I'm not worrying about what colors are by what. They're going to have that nice variegated look. So those should all fit, and they did. So, and I am using double thread because I want it nice and strong. I don't want it to break if I'm wearing it. So I'm just going to make sure that my threads are staying together, that they're nice and smooth. Let's see, I was going to go this way around. Try to do this so that you guys can see. So I'm going to hold it. I'm going to, I'm doing this backwards. Okay, I guess I'm going to do it from the front and go this way. So there's the beads. I'm going to hold it down in place, and I'm going to stick my needle in where that last one is, and I'm going to come up in between, like maybe the last 2 or 3, and pull that tight. And then where I came up, I'm just going to go right back through and come out the end and pull that tight. And I am going to do that I'm going to do that all the way around until we get to the end. So I'll see in a little bit. As I'm working on this, I'm finding that if I do like 5 to 7 like I usually do, that they're not close enough to the edge, they're popping up. So what I switched to is just doing about 3 of them and taking a lot smaller stitches. Just doing 3. And then what I'm doing is just taking a little solid little stitch there. If I'm too far away from the bead where I am there, and I also want you to see how this bead is sticking up, and I'll show you how I'm going to fix that. So I am too far away. I'm going to fix this right now. So it's going to be time consuming and a lot of back and forth, but I'm going to go back with my needle, and I'm going to come up. Oh, I hope you can see this. I'm coming up between, oh, I'm coming up in the bead. Okay, I'm coming up between far enough back. And then what you can do is then where you came up, put your needle, I can't see that far away, put your needle through all the beads, all the way back to the end. Can you see that? And pull it through, and that will line those beads up a little bit nicer and keep them together. So I am going to do that all the way through. That one is still popping up. You know what I might do, you guys, is stick a little liquid stitch glue in there just to pop it down. It must be, oh, it'll be okay. So anyway, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do about 3 all the way down. You can see how that's going to look. And then I'm going to take little bites and then come back through and keep those all in a line.